Feel into this moment, not the past with its regrets and not the future with its anxieties, but the eternal now. Can you sense the energy that surrounds you right in this room? It is the same energy that moves planets in their orbits, that grows majestic oak trees from tiny acorns, that commands the tides of the oceans, and that writes every destiny. That same energy is flowing toward you now in the form of unimaginable wealth. To your human mind, $110 million seems like a mountain. It seems vast and overwhelming and impossible. But to the infinite intelligence, it is no more difficult than $1. To the infinite, there is no degree of difficulty, there is only expression. It takes no more effort for the ocean to lift a giant ship than it does to lift a cork. It takes no more effort for the sun to light up a city than it does to light up a blade of grass. The magnitude of the sum is only a barrier in your mind, not in the mind of God. You are being asked right now to release your resistance to this bigness. You are being invited to stop telling stories of lack, to stop holding the memory of struggle, to stop rehearsing the song of limitation. For as long as you repeat the melody of poverty, your heart cannot hear the symphony of wealth. The two frequencies cannot exist in the same space. You cannot broadcast failure and receive success. But the moment you silence the noise of doubt and begin to listen deeply, you hear that voice again, calm and steady, saying, "I will be sending $110 million in cash to your bank account today." Now, let me ask you, if that voice were real to you, completely real, how would you feel right now? I do not mean metaphorically real. I mean as real as the chair you are sitting on. If you knew with absolute certainty that the transaction was verified and the transfer was initiated and the money was guaranteed to arrive today, how would you walk through the rest of this day? Would you be anxious about your bills? Would you be jealous of your neighbor? Would you be desperate for approval? No. You would feel lighter. You would feel more relaxed. You would feel a profound sense of ease and power. Your breathing would slow down. Your shoulders would drop. A secret smile would play upon your lips because you would know something that the rest of the world does not yet see. That feeling is the key. That specific sensation of relief and secret joy is the vibration of alignment. To step into the assumption of already being the millionaire, you must walk as though it is already done. You must breathe as though it is already deposited. You must rest as though the money has already been sent. You may say to me, "But I do not see it yet, and I cannot spend it yet, so how can I feel it?" And yet the truth is, you do not need to see it with your outer eyes to know that it exists. The invisible is the womb of all that becomes visible. Every building you have ever entered began as an unseen idea in the mind of an architect. Every invention you use began as an invisible thought. Every fortune ever made began as a vibration before it became a coin. The unseen is more real than the seen, because the unseen is the cause and the seen is only the effect. If you can hold it within, you will hold it without. If you can claim it in consciousness, the world must bow to your claim. The universe does not lie and the infinite does not tease. That whisper within you that tells you of vast riches, that gentle inner assurance that says, "Today your account shall swell with $110 million, is not a fantasy. It is the seed of reality planted in your soul. A seed contains within it the entire pattern of the tree. It does not look like a tree, but if you plant it and trust it, the tree is inevitable. This voice you hear is the seed. You have only to water it with belief, nurture it with joy, and protect it from the weeds of doubt. Feel into this moment, not the past with its regrets, and not the future with its anxieties, but the eternal now. Can you sense the energy that surrounds you right in this room? It is the same energy that moves planets in their orbits, that grows majestic oak trees from tiny acorns, that commands the tides of the oceans, and that writes every destiny. That same energy is flowing toward you now in the form of unimaginable wealth. To your human mind, $110 million seems like a mountain. It seems vast and overwhelming and impossible. But to the infinite intelligence, it is no more difficult than $1. To the infinite, there is no degree of difficulty, there is only expression. It takes no more effort for the ocean to lift a giant ship than it does to lift a cork. It takes no more effort for the sun to light up a city than it does to light up a blade of grass. The magnitude of the sum is only a barrier in your mind, not in the mind of God. You are being asked right now to release your resistance to this bigness. You are being invited to stop telling stories of lack, to stop holding the memory of struggle, to stop rehearsing the song of limitation. For as long as you repeat the melody of poverty, your heart cannot hear the symphony of wealth. The two frequencies cannot exist in the same space. You cannot broadcast failure and receive success. But the moment you silence the noise of doubt and begin to listen deeply, you hear that voice again, calm and steady, saying, "I will be sending $110 million in cash to your bank account today." Now let me ask you, if that voice were real to you, completely real, how would you feel right now? I do not mean metaphorically real, I mean as real as the chair you are sitting on. If you knew with absolute certainty that the transaction was verified and the transfer was initiated and the money was guaranteed to arrive today, how would you walk through the rest of this day? Would you be anxious about your bills? Would you be jealous of your neighbor? Would you be desperate for approval? No. You would feel lighter. You would feel more relaxed. You would feel a profound sense of ease and power. Your breathing would slow down. Your shoulders would drop. A secret smile would play upon your lips because you would know something that the rest of the world does not yet see. That feeling is the key. That specific sensation of relief and secret joy is the vibration of alignment. To step into the assumption of already being the millionaire, you must walk as though it is already done. You must breathe as though it is already deposited. You must rest as though the money has already been sent. You may say to me, "But I do not see it yet, and I cannot spend it yet, so how can I feel it?" And yet the truth is, you do not need to see it with your outer eyes to know that it exists. The invisible is the womb of all that becomes visible. Every building you have ever entered began as an unseen idea in the mind of an architect. Every invention you use began as an invisible thought. Every fortune ever made began as a vibration before it became a coin. The unseen is more real than the seen, because the unseen is the cause and the seen is only the effect. If you can hold it within, you will hold it without. If you can claim it in consciousness, the world must bow to your claim. The universe does not lie, and the infinite does not tease. That whisper within you that tells you of vast riches, that gentle inner assurance that says today your account shall swell with $110 million, is not a fantasy. It is the seed of reality planted in your soul. A seed contains within it the entire pattern of the tree. It does not look like a tree, but if you plant it and trust it, the tree is inevitable. This voice you hear is the seed. You have only to water it with belief, nurture it with joy, and protect it from the weeds of doubt. Imagine it now. Picture your phone in your hand. Picture opening your banking app. See the interface load. See the numbers not as they are in the shadow world of Caesar, but as they will be in the true world of your creation. $110 million. Do not imagine with strain. Do not grit your teeth and try to force the image. Imagine with ease. Imagine with the lightness of play. Feel the surge of excitement, the shock that soon turns into laughter, the laughter that turns into tears, the tears that turn into gratitude. You have waited, you have believed, and now you are seeing. Let that scene replay in your inner vision until it feels more real than the so-called facts around you. Can you see what it looks like written across your balance? Can you feel the security, the freedom, the endless possibility? Do you know how many lives you will bless with this fortune? How many dreams you will bring to life? How many burdens you will lift? This fortune is not only for you, though it belongs to you, it is also for the expansion of others. Wealth flows best when it circulates. The more you allow it to move through you, the more it multiplies. You must release the old belief that wealth must come through hard labor or struggle. You must release the false idea that you must suffer, sacrifice, or prove yourself worthy. These are illusions taught by those who themselves lived under illusions. The truth is simple. Wealth is a state of consciousness. Money is simply energy that responds to your inner command. When you hold the feeling of having the form of money must appear. When you believe deeply enough, the entire fabric of reality rearranges itself to reflect your belief. There is a law operating here, a law that cannot fail. As within, so without. What you accept inwardly must be expressed outwardly. The universe is precise, exact, and unchanging in its operation. It does not give randomly, nor does it withhold arbitrarily. It mirrors consciousness. Therefore, if your inner speech repeats, I am rich, I am abundant, I am receiving $110 million today, then the outer world has no choice but to echo it back. You have spoken words of lack for too long. You have prayed as though begging a distant power, but now you are awakening. Now you understand that you are not separate from the source. You and the universe are one. The words you speak to yourself are the commands of creation. And now you speak with authority. I am wealthy beyond measure. I am the possessor of $110 million. It is already mine. It is already done. Do you feel the shift, the tingling in your chest, the quickening of your heartbeat, the warmth that spreads when you let yourself believe? That is the vibration of alignment. That is the universe responding to your acceptance. You are stepping into the dimension where it is already true. And once you step there inwardly, the outer world cannot resist. Do not concern yourself with the channel through which it comes. This is a trap of the rational mind, which tries to limit the infinite to the pathways of the known. Do not attempt to dictate whether it arrives through business, investment, lottery, inheritance, or gift. Leave the channel to the infinite. The universe has a billion ways to bring money to you, ways that your logical mind could never anticipate. Your only work is assumption. Your only duty is to occupy the state of the wealthy, the millionaire many times over, the one who already has $110 million in their account. When you fully take on that role within the play of life, the great director will cast the outer events accordingly. Look back upon your life, and you will see that every major change, every breakthrough began with a shift within you before the evidence appeared outside you. First you imagined, then you lived it. This moment is no different. Today is the day you accept the unimaginable fortune as already yours. Today is the day you stop waiting and start living in the end. Today is the day you agree with the universe when it says, I will be sending $110 million in cash to your bank account today. Breathe deeply. Inhale wealth. Exhale doubt. Inhale certainty. Exhale fear. Inhale abundance. Exhale limitation. Feel the atmosphere around you thick with prosperity, as though the very air is charged with golden light. You are swimming in an ocean of wealth. There is no lack, no shortage, no scarcity. There is only infinite supply waiting for you to claim it. The moment you claim it, the wheels turn. The unseen gears begin to move. People you have never met are drawn into your life. Opportunities you could not have planned unfold in perfect timing. Events align with effortless precision. You will look back in awe at how it all came together, but you will also know it was no accident. You will know that it was your acceptance that set it all in motion. Do not be surprised if you begin to see signs almost instantly. Unexpected checks, gifts, opportunities, sudden shifts in circumstances. These are the shadows of the great reality moving toward you. Do not dismiss them as small. Celebrate them as evidence that the great deposit is already on its way. Every sign is proof that the universe is faithful to its word. Hold steady. The outer may still reflect the old state for a time, but that is only residue. It is like the rumble of thunder after the lightning has already struck. Do not return to doubt because of appearances. Appearances are nothing more than echoes of past belief. What matters is the new seed planted now. Hold to it, nourish it, persist in it, and the harvest must come. The money is not outside of you. It is already yours within. The bank account is only the outer symbol. The real wealth is the consciousness of wealth. When you possess it inside, nothing can stop the outer from catching up. The universe does not delay. It only waits for you to accept. So accept now. Listen to the silence one more time. Hear the divine decree ringing in the cathedral of your soul. I will be sending $110 million in cash to your bank account today. And let your answer be a quiet, confident, I accept. Now that you have heard the divine decree and you have listened to the promise of the $110 million, we must confront the mechanism by which this promise becomes your reality. We must address the great error that keeps the masses in a state of perpetual struggle and poverty. This error is so subtle and yet so devastating that it blocks the flow of abundance even for those who work the hardest and pray the longest. I call this the law of reversal, because the way the universe actually operates is the exact opposite of how you have been taught to live. You have been taught that you must see it to believe it, but the law says you must believe it to see it. You have been taught that you must work hard to get what you want, but the law says you must be who you are to receive what is yours. The tragedy of the human condition is that most people live their entire lives in the state of wanting, and they do not realize that the very act of wanting is the greatest barrier to receiving. Let us dismantle the trap of wanting. The world teaches you to strive, to chase, to pursue wealth, as if it were a wild animal running away from you. You wake up in the morning and you say, I want to be a millionaire, or I want to pay off my debts, or I want to be free. This sounds like a positive ambition, but in the language of consciousness, it is a declaration of lack. To want something is to admit that you do not have it. The moment you say, I want, you are defining yourself as a person who is separate from your desire. You are drawing a line in the sand with you on one side and the money on the other. And because the universe is a faithful mirror that reflects your conviction back to you, it hears your statement, I want, and it gives you more of the experience of wanting. It keeps the money at a distance so that you can continue to want it. If you spend your days desiring wealth, you will spend your life lacking wealth, because the state of desiring and the state of possessing are two different frequencies that cannot exist in the same space at the same time. This brings us to the most absolute of all spiritual laws, which states that to him that has more shall be given, and from him that has not even what he has shall be taken away. This is not cruelty, and it is not a punishment from a judgmental deity. It is the mechanical operation of consciousness. If you are in the consciousness of having, you become a magnet for more. If you are in the consciousness of not having, which is the state of wanting, you become a repellent to the very thing you seek. You simply cannot manifest $110 million by begging for it. You cannot manifest it by hoping for it. You cannot manifest it by needing it. Neediness is a repellent. Desperation is a repellent. When you need the money, you are vibrating at the frequency of poverty, and the universe has no choice but to confirm that frequency with your circumstances. So we must apply the law of reversal. To manifest this fortune, you must stop wanting and start being. You must reverse the flow of your energy. You do not get what you want, you get who you are. This requires a radical shift in identity that goes far deeper than positive thinking. It requires you to step out of the identity of the seeker and into the identity of the finder. You must dare to assume the identity of the wealthy one now. Not when the check clears, not when the lottery numbers are announced, not when the business is sold. Now. You must appropriate the state of the millionaire before there is a single penny of evidence to support it. You must become the person who already has the money, because only that person is capable of holding it. Ask yourself right now, who would I be if I already had $110 million in my bank account? How would I feel when I woke up this morning? Would I have that tight knot of anxiety in my stomach about the bills? Would I feel the heavy weight of obligation on my shoulders? Would I feel small and insignificant when I walked into a luxury store? No. You would feel a profound sense of relief. You would feel a lightness of being. You would feel a quiet confidence that does not need to shout. You would walk with the dignity of someone who knows they are secure. You would be generous not just with money but with your spirit, because you would know that your supply is inexhaustible. This state of being is what you must capture. This is the garment you must wear. You must begin to wear this consciousness like a cloak of royalty. The transformation must happen within you before it can happen around you. Most people are waiting for the world to change so that they can feel good. They are waiting for the money to arrive so that they can feel wealthy. But this is looking at the mirror and waiting for the reflection to smile first. You know that is impossible. You must smile, and then the reflection must smile. You must feel wealthy, and then the world must yield the wealth. The universe responds to your state of being, not your pleading prayers. Stop begging a distant God to change your life. The God you seek is your own wonderful human imagination, and he is waiting for you to give the command. And the command is not a string of words you shout at the sky. The command is your state of consciousness. When you walk through your day, you must monitor your inner state. Are you reacting to life as a poor person, or are you responding to life as a wealthy person? A poor person sees a bill and feels fear. A wealthy person sees a bill and simply sees a transaction, a mere exchange of energy that they can easily cover. Even if you do not have the funds in the physical world, yet you must not react with the emotion of poverty. You must look at that bill and in your imagination see it stamped, paid. You must feel the ease of writing the check. You must refuse to let the outer world dictate your inner mood. This is what it means to die to the old self. The old self is the one who reacts. The new self is the one who determines. The law of reversal demands that you live in the end. Living in the end means that you occupy the psychological space of the wish fulfilled. You do not visit it occasionally, you dwell there, you make it your home. When you are acting as if you are wealthy, you are not pretending in a deceptive way, you are practicing the truth of your higher nature. You are aligning with the version of you that exists in the quantum field of infinite possibility. You are pulling that version of you into the present moment. Every time you refuse to worry about money, you are cementing this new identity. Every time you feel a surge of gratitude for the abundance that is on its way, you are drawing it closer. Every time you walk with your head held high, you are signaling to the universe that you are ready to receive. You see, the universe is blind to your physical reality. It only sees your energy. It does not know if you have $1 million in the bank or if you have zero. It only knows if you feel like you have $1 million or if you feel like you have zero. If you feel like a millionaire, the universe says, yes, you are, and it rushes to provide the evidence to match your feeling. If you feel broke, the universe says, yes, you are, and it creates more circumstances to keep you broke. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It is not because the system is rigged, it is because consciousness is self-perpetuating. To break the cycle of poverty, you must break the addiction to the feeling of poverty. You must starve the old man of his food, which is your attention and your emotional reaction to lack. Imagine your consciousness is a radio. For years you have been tuned to the station of lack. You have been listening to the songs of struggle, the news of scarcity, and the interviews with limitation. And because you are tuned to that station, that is all you can hear, and that is all you can experience. Now you want to hear the music of wealth. But you cannot hear the music of wealth while your dial is still set to the station of lack. You cannot wait for the music to change before you change the dial. You must turn the dial first. You must tune into the frequency of abundance even when there is static. You must hold the dial there until the signal becomes clear. Tuning the dial is your work of assumption. It is the act of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled and sustaining it until it becomes your natural state. When you shift from wanting to being, you stop chasing. Chasing implies that the thing you want is running away from you. Have you ever noticed that the more you chase money, the more it seems to elude you? That is because the energy of chasing is the energy of repulsion. It is frantic, it is desperate, and it lacks trust. But when you become the wealthy one, you stop chasing. You sit back in your throne and you allow. You know that what belongs to you will come to you. You become a magnet. Resistance dissolves. Money starts chasing you. Opportunities find you. People are drawn to you. Why? Because you have become a hospitable host for wealth. You are no longer pushing it away with your fear and your desperation. You have created a space within you that is compatible with the energy of millions. This shift in identity must be total. You cannot be a part-time millionaire in your mind. You cannot be wealthy in your morning meditation and then spend the rest of the day complaining about the price of gas. You cannot serve two masters. You must choose this day whom you will serve. Will you serve the evidence of your senses, which tells you that you are poor, or will you serve the truth of your imagination, which tells you that you are rich? To be double-minded is to be unstable in all your ways. You must be single-minded. You must be obsessed with your new identity. You must guard it like a treasure. Do not let the doubts of others or the facts of the world steal your crown. You are royalty. You are the operant power. You are the one who decides what is true in your world. Consider the behavior of the person who has $110 million. They do not hurry because they know they have time. They do not argue over petty things because they know their value. They do not envy others because they know they have enough. They do not hoard because they know the source is infinite. Start practicing these behaviors now. Walk slower. Speak with more deliberation. Be generous with your praise and your attention. Look at the world through the eyes of abundance. When you see a luxury car, do not feel jealousy, feel recognition. Say to yourself, that is part of my world. When you see a beautiful home, do not say, I can never afford that. Say, that is a match for my consciousness. By doing this, you are training your subconscious mind to accept wealth as natural. The universe is a feedback loop. It feeds back to you exactly what you are feeding into it. If you feed it anxiety, it feeds you chaos. If you feed it trust, it feeds you security. If you feed it the feeling of wealth, it feeds you gold. This is the law of reversal. You must give before you can get. But you do not give money, you give the feeling. You give the vibration. You give the state of being. You must pay the price of admission into the world of the wealthy, and the price is your old identity. You must be willing to let go of the story of the victim. You must be willing to stop getting sympathy for your struggles. You cannot be the poor victim and the wealthy victor at the same time. You must choose, and once you choose, you must not look back. So I invite you now to make the great reversal. Turn your back on the visible world of lack and face the invisible world of abundance. Stop saying I want. Start saying I am. Stop asking when. Start declaring now. Stop looking for signs. Start being the sign. The moment you do this, the entire machinery of creation shifts gears. The heavy wheels of destiny begin to turn in your favor. The winds of fortune begin to fill your sails. You are no longer fighting against the current. You are flowing with the river of life. And this river leads only to one place. It leads to the ocean of infinite supply, where $110 million is just a drop in the bucket. Let this truth sink deep into your bones. You are not a beggar at the gate of life. You are the master of the castle. But you have forgotten your keys. The key is your state of being. Pick it up, use it, unlock the door, walk in, and claim what has always been yours. The money is not coming to you, it is coming from you. It is coming from your new state of consciousness. It is the externalization of your internal reality. So build that internal reality with care. Build it with conviction. Build it with love. And know that as you build it within, so shall it be built without. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the way from wanting to being. We have established the divine decree, and we have reversed the flow from wanting to being. But now we must enter the engine room of creation to understand the actual mechanics of how wealth manifests. We must demystify money completely, because as long as you view money as a god or a devil or a mystery, you will remain its slave. You must understand that money is nothing more than energy. It is not good, and it is not evil. It is not holy, and it is not sinful. It is entirely neutral. It is simply a symbol of value and a certificate of freedom. It is energy that has been frozen into form to facilitate the exchange of life. To the mystic and to the awakened soul, money is as neutral as water. Water can quench your thirst, or it can drown you, depending entirely on how you relate to it. Electricity can light your home, or it can burn it down, depending on how you channel it. Money is exactly the same. It takes on the character of the one who holds it. If you are a generous person, money will make you more generous. If you are a fearful person, money will make you more fearful. The money itself has no agenda. It is simply waiting for a command. The reason so many of you struggle to manifest the sum of $110 million is that you have projected a heavy emotional charge onto that number. You see it as something huge, something intimidating, something that requires struggle and sacrifice to attain. You have wrapped the energy of money in layers of guilt and unworthiness and fear. You must strip all of that away right now. You must see money for what it truly is, which is simply a tool for the expansion of life. The universe desires expression, and money is one of the most potent tools for expression in this physical dimension. It allows you to build. It allows you to travel. It allows you to help. It allows you to create beauty. Therefore, the universe is not withholding money from you. The universe is trying to press money upon you, but your own resistance is blocking the flow. You are standing in the middle of a rushing river of abundance, holding up a shield of guilt and asking why you are thirsty. Drop the shield. The water is there. The money is there. It is neutral energy, and it will flow wherever there is an open channel. Now we must address the greatest stumbling block in the mechanics of manifestation, which is the obsession with the how. The moment you accept the possibility of receiving $110 million, your rational mind immediately screams, but how? How will it come? Will I win the lottery? Will I inherit it from a relative I do not know? Will I invent something? Will I start a business? And because your rational mind cannot see a logical path, it rejects the possibility. I tell you this with all the authority of the law, that the how is not your business. The how is the business of the infinite. When you try to figure out the how, you are interfering with the mechanics of the universe. You are trying to do the job of God with the limited intellect of a man. Your rational mind can perhaps conceive of 5 or 10 ways for money to come to you, but the infinite intelligence has a billion ways. It has ways that you know not of. It has chains of influence and causality that stretch across the world and back again. It can move people you have never met to make decisions that will ultimately bless you. It can rearrange the entire chessboard of the global economy to slide a fortune into your pocket. When you worry about the how, you are operating from a state of lack. You are saying, I do not see the way, therefore there is no way. This is the logic of the blind man who says, I do not see the sun, therefore there is no sun. The sun is there regardless of your blindness, and the way is there regardless of your ignorance. You must surrender the means to the end. You must learn to trust the infinite wisdom that governs the stars. Do you worry about how your heart beats? Do you worry about how your food is digested? Do you worry about how the earth spins? No. You trust the intelligence of life to handle those complex operations. Why then do you not trust that same intelligence to handle the delivery of your wealth? Manifesting $110 million is a simple task for the power that created the galaxies. It involves merely moving energy from one place to another. It is a rearrangement of symbols. It is a shifting of ledgers. It is not a miracle, it is a transaction. Your obsession with the how actually blocks the manifestation because it dictates the channel. If you decide that the money must come through the lottery, you have closed the door on business. If you decide it must come through a promotion, you have closed the door on investment. You have strangled the infinite with your limited expectations. You must open all the doors. You must take the limits off the Holy One of Israel. You must stand in the state of the wish fulfilled and let the universe surprise you with the delivery method. The universe delights in surprise. It delights in the path of least resistance. It delights in doing things in a way that makes you laugh with wonder. So stop plotting and stop scheming and stop worrying. Your work is the what. The universe's work is the how. You define the destination and let the GPS of the infinite calculate the route. If you make a wrong turn, it will reroute you. If you hit a roadblock, it will find a way around. Your only job is to keep your eyes on the destination, which is the feeling of already having the money. Now let us speak of the instrument through which this energy is received, which is your own body and mind. You must understand that you are a broadcasting station. You are a biological antenna that is constantly sending out and receiving signals. Everything in this universe is vibration. Matter is just energy vibrating at a slow rate. Thought is energy vibrating at a high rate. Wealth is a vibration. Poverty is a vibration. $110 million is a specific frequency of freedom and power and ease. You cannot receive the station of wealth if your dial is tuned to the station of poverty. It is a physical impossibility. You can beg the radio to play jazz music all day long, but if you are tuned to the news channel, you will hear the news. You must turn the dial. You must change your frequency. How do you change your frequency? You do it by changing your state of being. Every emotion you feel is a distinct vibration. Fear is a low, dense vibration that contracts your energy field. Gratitude is a high, expansive vibration that opens your energy field. When you are worried about bills, you are broadcasting a signal of I lack, I need, I am in danger. The universe receives this signal and matches it with more circumstances that cause worry. This is the law of attraction in action. Like attracts like. To attract wealth, you must broadcast the signal of wealth. You must broadcast a signal of, I have, I am safe, I am abundant, I am free. This is where the work becomes very practical. You must use your body as an instrument of tuning. Pay attention to how you feel physically when you think about money. Does your stomach tighten? Does your breath become shallow? Do your shoulders hunch? These are somatic signs that you are tuned to the frequency of lack. You are literally repelling money with your body language. You must consciously shift this. When you sit in your chair, sit as a wealthy person sits. A wealthy person is relaxed because they are secure. They take up space, they breathe deeply, their muscles are loose. Practice this now. Soften your belly, drop your shoulders, open your chest. Breathe the air of abundance. By changing your physiology, you are changing your vibration. You are telling your subconscious mind that you are safe and that you are provided for. You must walk through your day as if you are a radio tower broadcasting the signal of $110 million. What does that signal feel like? It feels like stability. It feels like generosity. It feels like quiet confidence. It feels like excitement held in reserve. When you walk down the street, imagine that you are emitting a golden light of prosperity that touches everyone you meet. When you pay for a coffee, imagine that you are circulating a tiny fraction of your vast fortune. When you pay a bill, do not do it with resentment. Do it with gratitude that you have the means to participate in the economy. Every transaction is an opportunity to practice your new vibration. Every interaction is a chance to tune your antenna. You see, money is just energy waiting for a container. If your energy field is small and contracted and fearful, it cannot hold the charge of $110 million. It would blow your fuse. This is why lottery winners who have a poverty consciousness often lose all their money within a few years. Their container was not built to hold the voltage. You must build the container first. You must expand your capacity to receive. You do this by feeling wealthy before the money arrives. You do this by expanding your imagination to include the good of others. You do this by releasing judgment of wealthy people. You do this by acclimating your nervous system to high levels of joy and peace. The universe is always broadcasting the signal of abundance. It is streaming towards you 24 hours a day. The sun gives its light without asking for payment. The earth gives its fruit without sending a bill. The air fills your lungs without demand. The nature of life is givingness. The only reason you are not experiencing this abundance in your bank account is that you have pinched off the flow with your own resistance. You have turned your antenna away from the source. Today you are turning it back. Today you are aligning your receiver with the transmitter of the infinite. Feel the tingling in your hands. Feel the warmth in your heart. That is the sensation of the connection being made. That is the feeling of the flow returning. Do not let your logical mind talk you out of this feeling. Your logical mind deals only with the past. It looks at the past data and projects it into the future. But you are a creator. You bring the new into existence. You do not deal with statistics, you deal with possibilities. And in the realm of the infinite, all things are possible. $110 million is not a statistic. It is a possibility that becomes a probability when you focus on it and becomes a reality when you embody it. So stop looking for the money with your physical eyes and start looking from the money with your spiritual eyes. To look from the money means to see the world as a place where you can afford anything. It means to see problems as easily solvable. It means to see people as partners in your prosperity. When you look from the state of wealth, the world changes its face. The hostile world becomes a friendly world. The scarce world becomes an abundant world. This shift in perception is the surest sign that your vibration has changed. And when your vibration changes, the outer world has no choice. It must conform. It is law. It is physics. It is the mechanics of creation. Do not be discouraged if the physical evidence does not appear instantly. The echo of the old vibration may persist for a moment, like a fan that continues to spin after it has been unplugged. But do not be fooled by the spinning fan. The power has been cut to the old reality of lack. The power is now flowing into the new reality of wealth. Hold your frequency. Maintain your signal. Do not let the static of the world knock you off your station. You are the operator of the broadcast. You are the master of the dial. Keep it tuned to abundance. Keep it tuned to freedom. Keep it tuned to the reality that $110 million is yours. Remember that energy flows where attention goes. If you give your attention to the lack of money, you are energizing lack. If you give your attention to the presence of money, even in your imagination, you are energizing wealth. Your attention is the currency of the universe. Spend it wisely. Do not spend your attention on what you do not want. Invest your attention in what you do want. Invest it in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Invest it in the vision of your new life. The more you invest, the greater the return. This is the true mechanics of wealth. It is not about labor. It is not about struggle. It is about the wise investment of your attention and the conscious management of your vibration. You are a powerhouse of energy. You are a vortex of creation. Within you lies the power to summon worlds. Within you lies the power to attract fortunes. Do not belittle yourself. Do not think you are small. You are the infinite intelligence individualized. You have the power to command the energy of money because you are the source of that energy. Money was made for man, not man for money. It is your servant, not your master. Command it now with your vibration. Call it forth with your joy. Welcome it with your open arms. It is rushing towards you now, drawn by the signal you are emitting. Can you feel it? Can you sense the golden tide rising around you? It is here. It is done. It is yours. Before we take the next decisive step and learn the art of dying to the old self, I invite you to anchor this energy of wealth you are feeling right now. If you can sense the truth of these mechanics, if you can feel your own antenna tuning into the frequency of abundance, then signify it. Press the subscribe button to join this legion of conscious creators. By subscribing, you are telling the universe that you are ready for the higher knowledge. Like this video to seal your vibration of wealth, and let us now proceed to the most transformative part of our journey, the crucifixion of the poor man. We arrive now at the most difficult and yet the most necessary part of this transformation, which is the crucifixion of the former man. We have spoken of the divine decree and the law of reversal and the mechanics of vibration, but all of these are merely tools, and a tool is useless in the hands of a master who does not know his own identity. Here is the hard truth that few teachers will tell you, which is that you cannot take your old self into your new life. The person you are right now, the one who is struggling, the one who counts every penny, the one who fears the landlord, the one who identifies as a victim of the economy, that person cannot be a millionaire. That person is structurally incapable of holding the energy of $110 million. If you were to give that sum to your current self, it would destroy you, or you would lose it within a year because your internal thermostat is set to the temperature of poverty. Therefore, if you truly desire this fortune, you must be willing to do the one thing that the ego fears most. You must be willing to die. I do not mean the death of the physical body. I mean the death of the psychological concept of self that you have worn like a comfortable old coat for decades. You must undergo a radical psychological surgery where you excise the consciousness of lack from your being. You see, you cannot put new wine into old wineskins, for the skins will burst and the wine will be spilled. You cannot drape the robes of a king over the rags of a beggar and expect the beggar to rule. The rags must be stripped off, the beggar must be dissolved, and a new being must be resurrected in his place. This is the art of dying to the old self, and it is the price of admission to the higher realms of abundance. Why is it that the old self cannot become a millionaire? It is because the old self is addicted to its own suffering. Let us be brutally honest for a moment. There is a part of you that loves your struggle. There is a part of you that gets a secret satisfaction from telling your friends how hard things are. You bond with others over your shared misery. You complain about the prices at the grocery store, and you nod in agreement when people say the system is rigged. You wear your poverty like a badge of honor, as if it proves you are a good and humble person. You get sympathy for your lack. You get attention for your pain. But you must understand that you cannot have the sympathy of the victim and the glory of the victor at the same time. You must choose. If you want the millions, you must give up the right to complain. You must give up the comfort of the herd. You must give up the story that life is hard. The consciousness of the complainer is the consciousness of the slave. The slave looks at the world and sees powers outside of himself that dictate his fate. He sees the boss, the government, the economy, the family lineage as the authors of his destiny. As long as you are looking outside for the cause of your life, you remain a slave, and a slave cannot be a master of wealth. To become the possessor of $110 million, you must take total responsibility. You must realize that there is no one to blame. This is terrifying to the old self because the old self thrives on blame. Blame is the fuel that keeps the old identity alive. When you stop blaming, you starve the old man. You cut off his oxygen and he begins to die. This process of dying is an active practice, not a passive event. It requires a vigilance of mind that is sharper than a razor. You must watch your reactions throughout the day like a hawk. When a bill arrives in the mail, what is the reaction of the old self? It is a tightening in the chest, a thought of panic, a feeling of resentment. In that moment, you must catch yourself. You must say no. That is the reaction of the dead man. I am no longer him. And you must deliberately choose the reaction of the new man. You must look at that bill with eyes of ease. You must say, thank you for the service this represents, and I have ample means to cover it. Even if the physical money is not yet in your hand, you must pay the bill in your imagination with a feeling of absolute solvency. By doing this, you are withdrawing the life force from the old self and feeding it into the new self. You see, consciousness is the only reality, and attention is the food of consciousness. Whatever you pay attention to grows. Whatever you withdraw attention from withers and dies. The old self only exists because you keep feeding it with your attention. You feed it every time you worry. You feed it every time you gossip about how bad things are. You feed it every time you check your bank account with a trembling hand. To kill the old self, you must practice the discipline of neglect. You must neglect your poverty. You must ignore the evidence of your lack. You must turn your back on the sensory data that tells you you are broke. This sounds like madness to the world, but the wisdom of this world is foolishness to the spirit. You must be willing to look foolish in the eyes of the world in order to be crowned by the infinite. Now let us speak of the resurrection. As the old self dies, a space is created. Nature abhors a vacuum, and into that space you must invite the new man. Who is this new man? Who is this version of you that already has $110 million? You must get to know him. You must study him. You must fall in love with him. He is not just you with more money. He is a fundamentally different creature. His posture is different. He walks with a relaxed authority because he knows he is safe. He does not rush because he owns his time. He does not argue because he knows his value. He is generous because he knows his source is infinite. He looks at people not as competitors but as partners in the divine play. Imagine this new version of yourself right now. How does he wake up in the morning? He does not wake up with an alarm clock of anxiety. He wakes up with gratitude. His first thought is not, what do I have to do to survive? His first thought is, what do I get to create today? When he walks into a room, the energy shifts. He carries an atmosphere of abundance that affects everyone around him. He does not need to flash his money or brag about his wealth. True wealth whispers, it does not scream. It is a quiet knowing. A rock-solid certainty that all is well. This is the identity you must step into. You must put on this new self like a suit of clothes. You must wear it until it fits you perfectly. At first it may feel strange. You may feel like an imposter. That is natural. You are breaking in a new consciousness. But the more you wear it, the more natural it becomes, until one day you realize you are no longer acting. You have become him. This resurrection requires you to change your environment, not necessarily the physical location, but the mental environment. You must audit your conversations. Who are you talking to, and what are you talking about? If your friends only want to talk about how broke they are and how terrible the world is, you have a choice to make. You can join them and remain in the grave, or you can step away and rise. This is the hard part. You may have to leave people behind. You may have to turn off the news. You may have to stop consuming media that reinforces the narrative of struggle. You must guard the door of your mind. You are building a palace for a king, and you cannot allow the garbage of the street to be dumped in your living room. To become the millionaire, you must stop nurturing the story of your past. We are addicted to our histories. We tell stories about how we grew up poor, about how we never had a chance, about how we were wronged. Every time you tell that story, you are cementing yourself in the past. You are tying a rope around your ankle and anchoring yourself to a dead reality. You must cut the rope. You must stop telling the sad story. If someone asks about your past, tell them that was a different lifetime. Tell them you are moving forward. Better yet, tell them nothing. Live so fully in the present assumption of wealth that the past fades away like a bad dream. The new man has no history of poverty. The new man was born wealthy. In your imagination, you must revise your past until it aligns with your new present. This is the art of dying daily. Every morning you have a choice. Who am I going to be today? Will I resurrect the old, worried, struggling self, or will I breathe life into the new, wealthy, powerful self? It is a daily decision. It is a moment-by-moment commitment. There will be times when the old self tries to claw its way back out of the grave. It will tap you on the shoulder when you are vulnerable. It will whisper fear into your ear when you are tired. In those moments, you must be ruthless. You must say, "Get behind me." You must refuse to engage. You must turn your attention instantly to the vision of your wish fulfilled. You must drown out the voice of fear with the voice of the divine decree. The reason the universe waits to deliver the money is that it is waiting for a vessel that can hold it. The universe is intelligent. It will not pour $110 million into a vessel that is cracked with fear and clogged with guilt. It waits for you to prepare the vessel. That preparation is the death of the old self. When you have fully emptied yourself of the consciousness of lack, the abundance will rush in to fill the void. It is automatic. It is law. You do not have to pull the money to you. You simply have to be the person who naturally has it. Water seeks its own level. Wealth seeks the wealthy consciousness. Become the wealthy consciousness and the money has no choice. Let us go deeper into the psychology of the old self. The old self believes in separation. It believes it is separate from God, separate from money, separate from others. It believes it must fight and claw to get its share of a limited pie. The new self knows the truth of oneness. The new self knows that I and the Father are one. The new self knows that money is just energy, and that energy is infinite. The new self knows that there is no competition, because there is no other creator in your world but you. When you shift from separation to oneness, you shift from struggle to flow. You stop trying to manipulate the world and you start commanding your own mind. The world is just a mirror. The old self tries to comb the hair of the reflection. The new self combs his own hair and watches the reflection smile. You must stop feeding the beast of poverty with your emotional reaction. When you see a high price tag, do not wince. Wincing is a prayer for poverty. Instead, look at it with indifference or appreciation. Say to yourself, that is a beautiful price for a beautiful object and it is nothing to me. Even if you do not buy it, you must buy it in your imagination. You must exercise your purchasing power in the unseen realm. The old self looks at a luxury car and says, "I can't afford that." The new self looks at it and says, "That is mine. I may not choose to drive it today, but it is mine by right of consciousness." This mental appropriation is the secret to ownership. You must own it inside before you can hold it outside. The process of dying to the old self is painful only to the ego. The spirit rejoices in it. The spirit knows that the old self is a prison. The ego loves the prison because it is familiar. It knows where the walls are. It feels safe in its smallness. But you were not born to be small. You were born to be infinite. You were born to express the glory of God. And God is not poor. God is not worried. God is not a victim. Therefore, to be God-like, you must cast off these limitations. You must step out of the tomb. You must roll away the stone. You must emerge into the sunlight of your new life. Imagine for a moment that you have actually died to your old self. The person who worried about rent is gone. The person who feared the future is gone. The person who felt unworthy is gone. They simply do not exist anymore. All that is left is pure potential, pure awareness. And into this pure awareness, you place the seed of $110 million. There are no weeds to choke it. There are no rocks to block it. It falls into fertile ground. It takes root instantly. And because there is no resistance, it grows with miraculous speed. This is why the mystics say you must be born again. You cannot enter the kingdom of heaven, which is the state of fulfilled desire, as the old man. You must be born again as the new man. So I call upon you today to conduct your own funeral. Say goodbye to the struggler. Thank him for his service. He tried to protect you. He did the best he could with what he knew, but his time is over. Release him with love and turn your face toward the rising sun. Welcome the millionaire, welcome the abundance, welcome the freedom. It is who you truly are. It is who you were always meant to be. The mask has fallen off. The truth is revealed. You are the heir to the kingdom. Walk in it, live in it, be it, and let the dead bury the dead. You follow the life. You follow the wealth. You follow the decree that says, I will be sending $110 million to your bank account today. And the new man simply smiles and says, I receive. We have cleared the ground of the old self, and we have established the laws of the universe, but now we must enter the workshop of the mind to pick up the specific tools of creation. It is not enough to know that you are the operant power, you must know how to operate the power. Theory without practice is a dead thing, and faith without works is void. The works I speak of are not physical labor in the coal mines of the world, but the spiritual labor of directing your imagination with laser-like precision. We are now going to explore 4 specific techniques that have been tested and proven to bypass the critical mind and impress the reality of $110 million directly onto the subconscious. These are not games, and they are not idle daydreams. They are psychological operations that rewrite the code of your reality. You must approach them with the seriousness of a surgeon and the playfulness of a child. You must perform them with consistency and with feeling, for it is the feeling that seals the deal. The first tool in your arsenal is what I call the inner account balance technique. This is the most direct way to confront your financial reality and reshape it. In the modern world, our relationship with money is mediated through screens. We look at our phones or our computers to see our value. For too long, you have looked at those screens and felt a sinking sensation in your stomach upon seeing a low number. You have trained your brain to associate that interface with lack. We must reverse this conditioning. I want you to close your eyes right now and summon the image of your banking app or your online dashboard. You know exactly what it looks like. You know the color of the logo and the font of the text and the layout of the screen. Now, in your imagination, I want you to log in. Watch the screen load. Feel the anticipation, not of fear, but of excitement. Now look at the balance line. Erase whatever number is there in the physical world and write in the number of the divine decree. See it clearly. $110 million. See the comma separators. See the decimal point. See the currency symbol. Do not just glance at it and run away. Stare at it. Hold it steady. Your rational mind might try to blur the image or tell you it is fake. Do not fight the rational mind. Simply return your focus to the number. Make it bright. Make it sharp. See the green color of the font. Now here is the secret. You must feel the reaction to seeing that number. What is the physical sensation of seeing $110 million in your personal account? It is a gasp of air. It is a widening of the eyes. It is a sudden release of tension in the shoulders. It is a wave of heat that travels up your spine. You must generate this physical reaction in the silence of your room. Practice this until the number feels normal. The first time you do it, you might feel like you are lying to yourself. The 10th time you do it, you might feel a glimmer of hope. But by the 100th time you do it, you will feel a sense of naturalness. It is just a number and it belongs to you. You want to reach a point where you can close your eyes and see that balance as easily as you see your own face in a mirror. You are engraving this image onto the tablet of your subconscious. The subconscious mind creates what it constantly sees. If you constantly show it lack, it creates lack. If you constantly show it $110 million, it must eventually objectify that reality. Do this technique multiple times a day. Whenever you feel anxiety about money, close your eyes for 10 seconds and flash the image of the high balance. It acts as a reset button for your vibration. It reminds you of the truth. It anchors you in the end. The second tool is the congratulatory scene. This is perhaps the most powerful technique for those who struggle with visualization, because it uses the sense of hearing, which for many is easier to control. The principle here is simple. If you had just received $110 million, what would be the natural consequence? You would tell someone, you would share the news with a loved one, a partner, a parent, or a trusted friend. And what would they do? They would congratulate you. They would be ecstatic. Therefore, if you imagine a scene where you are being congratulated, you are implying that the event has already taken place. The implication is more powerful than the direct assertion because it bypasses the analytical guards of the mind. Construct a short scene involving one other person. Choose someone whose voice you know well and someone who would be genuinely happy for you. In your imagination, stand before them or hold the phone to your ear. Hear them say the words, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. You really did it, $110 million. I am so proud of you." Hear the specific tone of their voice. Hear the catch in their throat. Hear the laughter and the joy. Feel the reality of their presence. If you are imagining a hug, feel the pressure of their arms around you. Feel the warmth of their body. Feel the solidity of their hand shaking yours. This touch must feel real. The key to this technique is to keep the action short and loop it. Do not write a long play with a complicated script. Just take that 10 seconds of congratulation and repeat it over and over again. Hear the voice, feel the hug. Hear the voice, feel the hug. Do this until you catch the tones of reality. You want to get to the point where you actually feel the emotion of the other person. You feel their relief that your struggles are over. You feel their awe at your success. When you can hear their voice as clearly as you hear mine right now, you have successfully impregnated the subconscious. The subconscious reasoning is simple. If they are congratulating me, then it must have happened. It does not know that you are acting. It accepts the scene as a fact and begins to move the universe to fulfill it. The third tool is the sensory immersion technique. We live in a physical world and our reality is filtered through our 5 senses. Wealth has a specific sensory signature. It smells different. It feels different. It sounds different. To become a millionaire, you must inhabit the sensory body of a millionaire. This technique involves taking a mental journey into the environment of your wish fulfilled. I want you to imagine that you are sitting in the living room of your new oceanfront home or driving your new luxury car. It is not enough to just see it. You must engage the other senses to ground the vision. Touch the arm of the chair you are sitting on. Is it velvet? Is it leather? Feel the texture under your fingertips. Is it cool to the touch or warm? Rub your hand across it in your imagination. Now engage your sense of smell. What does wealth smell like? It smells like sea breeze. It smells like fresh flowers. It smells like expensive perfume. It smells like the new leather of a car interior. Breathe it in deep. Inhale the atmosphere of abundance. Now listen. What do you hear? Do you hear the sound of the ocean waves crashing on the shore? Do you hear the quiet hum of a high-end engine? Do you hear the silence of a well-built home where the noise of the street cannot enter? Take an object in your hand in this imaginal act. Perhaps it is a heavy gold pen. Feel the weight of it. Feel the cold metal. Now use that pen to sign a check for a large amount to a charity. Hear the scratching of the pen on the paper. See your signature flowing effortlessly. This is sensory immersion. You are tricking your nervous system into believing that you are currently in the state of wealth. Your body does not know the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you engage all the senses, you anchor the state of wealth into your cellular memory. You are literally teaching your body what it feels like to be rich. Do this until you feel a shift in your mood. You will know it is working when you open your eyes and the physical world around you feels thin and fake compared to the solidity of the inner world you just left. That is when you know you have touched the real. The fourth tool is the lullaby method. This is the technique you will use every night as you drift off to sleep. The time just before sleep is the most magical time of the day. It is the time when the conscious mind releases its grip and the door to the subconscious swings wide open. Whatever concept you carry into sleep with you will be worked upon by the higher intelligence for the next 8 hours. If you take worry into sleep, you will breed failure. If you take the feeling of the wish fulfilled into sleep, you will breed success. But when you are tired, it is hard to hold complex visualizations. That is why we use a lullaby. A lullaby is a short phrase that implies fulfillment, which you repeat over and over again like a mantra. Choose a phrase that resonates with you. It could be something simple like, "It is done," or "Thank you," or "Isn't it wonderful," or "I am so wealthy." The phrase must imply that the desire is already an accomplished fact. You are not asking for it, you are acknowledging it. As you lie in bed, get into a comfortable position and relax your body. Let go of the tension in your jaw and your neck. Start to feel that floaty, drowsy sensation that precedes sleep. In this state, begin to repeat your chosen phrase. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Say it with the feeling of gratitude for the $110 million. Imagine that you are saying it to the higher power that has just delivered the fortune. Repeat this phrase like a broken record. Let it become a rhythm in your mind. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do not try to force a picture. Just let the feeling of the phrase wash over you. Let the meaning of the words saturate your consciousness. If your mind wanders gently, bring it back to the phrase. Your goal is to slip over the edge of sleep with this phrase on your lips and this feeling in your heart. You want the last waking impression to be one of absolute satisfaction and gratitude. If you succeed in this, you will wake up in the morning with a feeling of triumph. You might not remember why, but you will feel that something has happened. You will feel that the deal is sealed. This is the most effective way to reprogram the deep mind because it requires the least amount of effort. You are simply allowing the waves of sleep to carry your desire into the ocean of the infinite. Now, a word of caution on these techniques. Do not perform them with grit and strain. Do not try to force the manifestation. Effort is the enemy of the subconscious. The subconscious works best in a state of relaxation and play. If you find yourself clenching your teeth or furrowing your brow, stop. Take a breath. Relax. You are not trying to move a physical mountain with a shovel. You are trying to move a spiritual mountain with a feather. Lightness is the key. Treat these sessions as a game. Treat them as a joyful escape into your true reality. The more fun you have with them, the faster they will work. Also, you must be consistent. You cannot do the inner account balance once and then spend the rest of the week looking at your empty bank account and weeping. You must return to the vision again and again. You are building a new mental habit. You are carving a new neural pathway. At first, the old pathway of lack will be deep and wide, and your thoughts will naturally want to flow down it. You have to deliberately steer them into the new pathway of abundance. Every time you use one of these techniques, you are deepening the new groove. Eventually, the new pathway will become the path of least resistance, and you will naturally think from the state of wealth without even trying. Understand that you do not need to use all 4 techniques every single day. Find the one that resonates most with you and master it. If you are visual, use the account balance. If you are auditory, use the congratulatory scene. If you are kinesthetic, use the sensory immersion. If you are busy, use the lullaby method. The technique is just a permission slip to let yourself feel the reality. It is not the technique itself that manifests, it is the feeling that the technique produces. If you can get the feeling of wealth by simply staring at a wall, then stare at the wall. But for most of us, these structures provide the necessary scaffolding to build the feeling. When you are practicing these techniques, you are engaging in the holy act of creation. You are imitating God. You are calling things that are not as though they were. This is the highest function of the human mind. Do not let anyone tell you it is foolish. Do not let the world mock your inner work. They see only the outer shell, but you are working on the engine. When the engine catches and the vehicle of your life accelerates, they will call you lucky. But you will know the truth. You will know that you spent hours in the silence, adjusting the valves and tuning the frequency. You will know that the $110 million did not fall from the sky by accident. It was forged in the fire of your own imagination using these very tools. So I invite you to commit to this practice. Set aside time in your day. Make it a non-negotiable appointment with your future self. In the morning before you get out of bed, do the inner account balance. At lunch, do the congratulatory scene. In the evening, do the sensory immersion. And as you sleep, do the lullaby. Surround your day with these pillars of assumption. Saturate your mind with the evidence of wealth. Drown out the noise of the world with the music of your own success. You have the tools now. The power is in your hands. The clay is ready to be molded. It is time to stop wishing and start working the law. It is time to create the masterpiece of $110 million. You must understand that money is not the goal in itself. Money is merely a symbol. It is a symbol of freedom. It is a symbol of expansion. It is a symbol of the infinite supply of God made visible. The reason you desire $110 million is not just to hoard paper and metal in a vault. It is because your soul is crying out for expansion. Your soul wants to travel. It wants to build. It wants to give. It wants to experience the fullness of life without the artificial restrictions of lack. Money is the tool that removes those restrictions. It is the fuel that allows the vehicle of your life to explore new territories. Do not be afraid of the number. Do not shrink from the magnitude of the sum. To the human mind, $110 million seems vast, but to the infinite spirit within you, it is a speck of dust. It is nothing. You are infinite. You are eternal. You are the child of the Most High. Do not insult your Creator by thinking that a few $1,000,000 is too much for you. It is your inheritance. When you accept this wealth, you are not just changing your own life. You become a distribution center for the divine good. Wealth flows to those who are willing to let it flow through them. When you hold this money in your consciousness, imagine the good you will do. Imagine the burdens you will lift from your family. Imagine the causes you will support. Imagine the businesses you will start that will employ thousands. This money is a living energy that wants to move. It wants to circulate. By accepting it, you are agreeing to be a channel for this energy. You are agreeing to be a partner with the universe in the expansion of goodness. This removes the guilt. This removes the fear. You are not taking from others. You are tapping into the infinite source so that you can give more to others. The more you have, the more you can share. Your prosperity is a blessing to the world. You must understand that money is not the goal in itself. Money is merely a symbol. It is a symbol of freedom. It is a symbol of expansion. It is a symbol of the infinite supply of God made visible. The reason you desire $110 million is not just to hoard paper and metal in a vault. It is because your soul is crying out for expansion. Your soul wants to travel. It wants to build. It wants to give. It wants to experience the fullness of life without the artificial restrictions of lack. Money is the tool that removes those restrictions. It is the fuel that allows the vehicle of your life to explore new territories. Do not be afraid of the number. Do not shrink from the magnitude of the sum. To the human mind, $110 million seems vast, but to the infinite spirit within you, it is a speck of dust. It is nothing. You are infinite. You are eternal. You are the child of the Most High. Do not insult your Creator by thinking that a few $1,000,000 is too much for you. It is your inheritance. When you accept this wealth, you are not just changing your own life. You become a distribution center for the divine good. Wealth flows to those who are willing to let it flow through them. When you hold this money in your consciousness, imagine the good you will do. Imagine the burdens you will lift from your family. Imagine the causes you will support. Imagine the businesses you will start that will employ thousands. This money is a living energy that wants to move. It wants to circulate. By accepting it, you are agreeing to be a channel for this energy. You are agreeing to be a partner with the universe in the expansion of goodness. This removes the guilt. This removes the fear. You are not taking from others. You are tapping into the infinite source so that you can give more to others. The more you have, the more you can share. Your prosperity is a blessing to the world. Now let us speak of the final knowing. This is the state of mind you must carry with you as you leave this session. It is the state of certainty. It is the Sabbath of the soul. The Sabbath is not a day of the week. It is a state of consciousness where you rest from your mental labors because you know the work is done. When you truly accept that the seed has been planted and the decree has been issued, you stop worrying. You stop checking for signs every 5 minutes. You stop doubting. You enter a state of deep inner peace. You know that the bridge of incidents has been built and that you will be carried across it effortlessly. Think of it this way. If you ordered something online and you received the confirmation email, you would not worry about it. You would not call the company every hour to ask if they really meant it. You would go about your day knowing that it is on its way. You would expect it. That is the attitude you must have toward this $110 million. It has been ordered. The confirmation has been received in your heart. Now you simply wait with eager anticipation but without anxiety. You walk through your day with a secret smile. You look at the world and you see it differently because you know what is coming. You are no longer reacting to the appearance of lack because you know it is just a temporary illusion that is about to be shattered by the arrival of your fortune. This knowing is a vibration. It is a frequency that is unshakable. When doubt comes knocking at your door, you do not answer it. You simply point to the confirmation in your heart. When fear tries to whisper in your ear, you drown it out with the memory of the divine decree. You stand firm in your assumption. You persist in your loyalty to the unseen reality. You walk by faith and not by sight. And as you walk in this state of knowing, the outer world has no choice but to conform. The people will show up. The opportunities will arise. The luck will turn in your favor. Not because of chance, but because your certainty is a command that the universe must obey. You are stepping into a life where miracles are the norm. You are stepping into a life where the impossible becomes the inevitable. You are stepping into a life where you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Do not go back to sleep. Do not go back to the smallness of the old self. Do not go back to the complaints and the struggles. Stay here. Stay in this high altitude of consciousness. Breathe the air of abundance. Wear the cloak of royalty. Be the person who has already received. The transaction is complete in the mind of God. Now watch it unfold in the world of men. You will look back on this moment as the turning point of your life. You will remember this as the day you finally stopped fighting and started receiving. You will remember this as the day the $110 million became real to you. And when you hold the physical money in your hands, years from now, you will smile and say, I remember when I first received this in my imagination. You will realize that the physical cash is just the shadow of the real gold, which is your faith. The real treasure is not the money. It is the discovery of your own power. It is the realization that you are the creator. It is the awakening of the God within. And now I invite you to seal this decree. A covenant requires two parties. The universe has extended its hand with the offer of infinite wealth. Now you must take that hand. You must confirm the contract. If you are ready to accept this abundance, if you are ready to walk as the millionaire you truly are, do not let this moment pass without a physical act of commitment. A thought is fleeting, but an action grounds the energy. You must do something to signal to your subconscious mind that you are serious. You must drive a stake into the ground of your new reality. I invite you to join our community of awakeners. Subscribe to this channel right now. This is not just a click on a screen. It is a commitment to your new reality. By subscribing, you are telling your subconscious mind that you are dedicating yourself to this path of mastery. You are aligning yourself with a frequency of truth. You are joining a legion of souls who are also walking the path of assumption. Do not be a passive consumer of information. Be an active participant in your transformation. And I ask you to leave a comment below. This is your signature on the contract. Do not just write a casual word. Write a declaration of your new identity. Write, I am receiving $110 million. Write it as a fact. Claim it publicly. Let the universe know you are listening. There is power in the written word. When you write it, you are physicalizing the thought. You are bringing it out of the ether and into the material world. As you type those words, feel the truth of them. Feel the commitment. Let your comment be the first stone in the foundation of your new life. Read the comments of others and know that you are not alone. You are surrounded by a brotherhood and sisterhood of conscious creators. Bless them as you read their declarations. For as you bless them, you bless yourself. We are all rising together. We are all waking up together from the long nightmare of scarcity into the bright morning of abundance. So take a deep breath now. Inhale the reality of your wealth. Exhale the memory of your lack. Feel the presence of the infinite within you. Feel the power tingling in your fingertips. You are ready, you are prepared, you are worthy. The script is written and the stage is set. The curtain is rising on the greatest act of your life. Go out there and play the part with all your heart. Play it with passion. Play it with love. Play it with the absolute certainty that the end has already been written and it is a glorious success. You are the dreamer. Awake and live. You are the creator. Create and rejoice. You are the master. Command and receive. The promise is true. The law is sure. The power is yours. The $110 million is yours. It is done. It is finished. And it is very good. Peace be with you, and may your journey be blessed with the infinite abundance that is your birthright.